Right, you are joining me in the conservatory today. It is another very windy day, another storm coming in over the next day or two. Very strong winds, up to 60 miles per hour where I am on the Suffolk coast. So yeah, we're in the conservatory just looking at some of the tropicals that are overwintering in the conservatory. So they're sort of cold stored tropicals, because this conservatory does not get sun in winter, so it's literally just a very cool storage situation where it drops down to about 4 degrees and then doesn't really warm up during the day other than the outside temperatures, so anywhere fluctuation between 4 to 10 degrees. Yeah, so as we can see, it's quite windy out there, so we'll just have a look at some of the little plants, or a little look at some of the plants we've got grown in here in various states of dormancy stroke dying. So the very first one, we've got a Schefflera here, which is a sort of house plant, one of the big leaf types. Little bit wilty leaves. I haven't actually watered this all winter, as all the plants in the conservatory here have not been watered whatsoever since they came in autumn. So what we have got, well, you can see there, I've got the Ensete Heniba banana there. So when I dug this up out of the garden, it had that one leaf on it, so I left I think that was actually sort of curled up at the time, so it's unfurled since. So it's got one leaf and plus a roller behind that as well. We can see obviously I've got that on a sort of drip tray there in a very small pot, so I dug that out with and put some fresh compost in there. So again, it's just sort of kept dry and cool. As you can see here, we've got another leaf roller there. The Ensete Morellii, exactly the same situation. I dug them out of the garden and just left the centre roller leaf. So yeah, they're absolutely fine. Again, just fresh dry compost on them. Again, I won't start watering these at all until well, at some point, normally about mid-February, the sun gets high enough in the sky to come round this way, and it starts warming up sort of mid to late February. So I'll start dribbling a little bit of water in onto these plants at that point, and then as things daylight increases, then I will move a lot of these tropicals into the hothouse outside. But like I say, as for now, they're all in here, kept dry. So we've got a cluster of 3 little pots here. These are alocasias. So we've got a standard mycorrhiza, we've got a portadora, and then we've got regal shield there. So again, these are just kept dry, no water whatsoever. Got a moonlight dracaena there, really wants to be inside as a house plant. I just want to see if it would survive the winter. As you can see, there's some brown and some yellowing going on, but again, totally dry. We'll see if that survives. I don't know. All these alocasias are going to be absolutely fine, because this is a tried and tested method. For most alocasias will survive this, rather than try and bring them indoors as house plants, and they really don't like indoor conditions in winter when there's hardly any light and it's not really warm enough to get them growing either, and they just tend to wilt away and die on you. Well, I do, certainly for me anyway. So for me, this is the way to do it, and it's just literally, again, cool, dry, plenty of light, so that the plant doesn't go into dormancy as such, but just sits in suspended animation, as it were. So you could say it's dormant, but not to the point where they drop their leaves. So again, we've got a large alocasia macrorrhiza there, and we've also got a fairly large odora there as well. Again, absolutely fine. Looking a bit rough, sort of wilty leaves. They're just very dry, but they're not going to totally die on me. We've got a bigger regal shield there. We've got a Wentii here, which has got the dark underleaf. This one is Alocasia Sumo. We've got a calculator there, Alocasia, and this one is not really looking good at all. That's the Alocasia lutea, the golden type, and again, I've got no hesitation in saying that will perk up absolutely fine as soon as it starts warming up and getting watered again. That'll be back to its old self. Fingers crossed. I have got a Kentia palm here, which is in a pot, so again, just kept cool, no problem with them. We know they'll take the long cool conditions. This brown on the leaf here is sunburnt from when I brought it outside last year. Yeah, so in general, don't be afraid to with soft leafy tropicals, you tend to think either you store them dormant, cut all the leaves off, dry them out, and just keep the bulbs, corms, and store them dry. But to be fair, a lot of these plants will take a long time to come back from that situation, whereas if you can keep them dormant but in growth, if you see what I'm saying, so they've still got growth on them, they will, as soon as that tends to warm up, they'll go bang straight back into growth. So it goes the same with your bananas as well. So your Ensetes, you can dry store, but they do take a long time to come out of dormancy. If you can keep them dry and cool, but just keep a leaf or two on them, they do much better. They come back a lot quicker. And when you've got such a short growing season like we have here in the UK, you need every week of growth is a bonus. So that is what over the years of doing this sort of tropical style gardening, that is what you find is that with a short growing season, you need to get as much growth as you can, as quick as you can. If you dry store and stuff from corms or bulbs, like I say, it's going to take twice as long to get them going again. Whereas if you can have them at a point where they're ready to go at any point when the weather changes to slight warmer, then you're going to be ahead of the game straight away. So on the end of note, I do tend to mention this once a year. I've got a big money plant here. I've had it for many years. I'm going to say 20 odd years from a tiny little cutting, and that does flower every year now. It's quite a nice little tree. It's probably about 3 foot tall, and it's now coming to flower. And again, with that, not watered at all over winter. Everything in here, we've got lots of little cuttings of money plants, and everything in here I water nothing until we get them first signs of light levels increase, then starting to warm up a little bit in here. While it's cold, it's dry. Simple as that. Right, so I think we've covered the situation. I mean, let me know, is there any other plants that you store in this way? like I say, it works for a lot of stuff. Some stuff is, you know, truly tropical, wants to be constantly growing. That's not going to work. Some stuff kept dry too long will just desiccate and dry up and totally shrivel up into nothing. But these are just a handful of plants that I've found really do well in this situation for you know, many months over the winter. We could be talking 4-5 months, depending on when the weather changes. And yeah, that does definitely work. And I would say, obviously, when you've got the Ensete bananas, obviously at a certain size. This is starting to annoy me now. My phone is really juddering. I don't know what's going on there. At a certain size, they will not dry store anyway, and these are probably on the brink of being too small to dry store. You can try, and I have dry stored Ensetes at this size before, as long as the winter's not too long. But yeah, this is not a huge pseudo stem on that. So this is a safer way of overwintering. But saying that, if you've got a really small one, you could bring them indoors. But what I do find is they are pest magnets. I mean, even in here, in very cold conditions, there's a lot of green fly on these leaves, so I wouldn't really want that in the house. Right, so we'll leave it there. Obviously, it's a bit messy in here. This is literally just a storage room over winter, if you like. We obviously sitting here in the summer, but during the winter, it's an ideal scenario to store your tropical plants and any other junk that's laying about in the house. Right, we'll leave it there. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.